It should be a very interesting game, and I'm looking forward to the battle through the midfield in particular. Nick Stevens and Brett Johnson. We know how good Brett Johnson can be at clearing the ball. Corey McGrath to get a run with roll?
Yeah, I would think he'd get one of the run with rolls. Interesting to see Camporelli and Bell actually starting on each other. That'd be a fantastic duel if it remains that way.
They're on the centre wing at the moment, and we're just about set to get underway. Brett Allen looking resplendent in his Heritage gear to bounce the ball. Round 18 in the Heritage round, we're underway. And Longmuir was in the ruck first of all. McGrath couldn't get it. Johnson couldn't take clean possession. Scotland working hard. It's hard to get a clean possession early. Look at that. Pavlich roughing Johnson up and sending him to the ground. And we have a secondary bounce after 24 seconds of some pretty tough work.
Well, you would think Fremantle would be fairly thankful of just the conditions that they've actually got here today. It's going to be a perfect day for football.
Certainly is. Hazelby. Pavlich got a call out the back from Walker. In turn going back to Parker around the corner, and that's a good start. And here's McManus. Going long and into the pocket, and Sandilands is marked just inside the field of play. This will be a tough kick for Sandilands. The tallest man to play AFL football. Matty, you're a big ruckman. You just go back and slot it through, don't you?
Oh, it's easy for us ruckman, but I think you'll run out a bit and pop it right through the middle.
Well, he's decided to kick to a man near Bell on his own. Bell will get a free kick, and the Robert Heatley stand. The Carlton fans not happy with that.
What do you think, KB?
I thought initially I didn't think it was a free kick, but I'd like to see it again. Umpire Darren Goldsmith, of course, is one of the most experienced in the business.
Well, Peter Bell's made no problem with that kick. As you can see, the crowd go berserk. The Dockers have got there first. They won't have a lot of support here this afternoon, but Terry, when you're playing away, and Matty, you know this as well, when you're playing away, take the crowd out of it by getting off to a good start.
Yeah, you do. You just want to get a bit of momentum rolling your way, and it was a good effort. That duel will just be crucial in this game between Bell and Camporelli, both very attacking players. As we just watched it again, the only thing, there wasn't a lot in it, but Camporelli just not really having his eyes for the football at all.
Well, a great start by Peter Bell, and we see Jeff Farmer there having a few words with Bowyer. Jeff Farmer has booted 28 goals for the season. So the Wiz. But a great start by Peter Bell. He always leads from the front. Captain Courageous, along with Hazelby. They'll be the two big midfield guns today for the Dockers. And Shammer is an emerging star to Cook towards centre half forward, getting a very ugly bounce. McGrath got held up in the tackle there. Stevens trying to break the tackle. Been pinched this time by Hazelby. Centering kick. Interesting kick. Getting back was French, but Longmuir has marked just 35 metres out directly in front.
Matthew, I think Justin Longmuir has probably been in almost career best form in recent times since he's been given just that more of a licence to play in the ruck.
Yeah, look, he's probably struggled a bit down in forward with the defender sitting right on him, but with the freedom in the ruck, and he pushed pretty hard out of the centre square there and caught French out. So definitely the last month his form's been fantastic.
Well, we can moz him by saying he's a fantastic kick. Longmuir as he just leans back and pops it through, straight through the centre.
Well, it's been a wonderful start for Fremantle, exactly the type of start away from home that you want, and all their key players have been involved early in the match, and that's one of the things that they would really love as a starting point. We see Hazelby involved here, kicking across his body to be able to just get it across to Longmuir. Good work, as you said, Matthew, by Longmuir, just pushing down from that ruck position. They're up and running, and that's exactly where they want to be.
Can I take a mulligan and change my tip?
Great start by the Dockers. Kevin Bartlett has jumped straight off of Carlton. Straight onto the Dockers.
I just looked down to the boundary line. Captain Carlton's got his head down.
After 2.5 minutes of playing time. Dockers all the play at the moment. Carlton haven't gone forward. They haven't cleared it out of the centre as yet. Still, right, that's where it is at the minute.
Matthew Campbell, you should be a coach as well. You were right. McGrath went straight to Hazelby.
There's the Carlton bench. Bentic, Fisher, Clark and Walker.
I think we might see them on shortly.
Longmuir was there again. It went past Thornton. Kutafides over the top. Another ball up.
And I meant that in all seriousness. I just sometimes, as we just have a look at the bench for Fremantle with Brown, Grover, Smith and Headland, sometimes if momentum's not going your way, there's nothing wrong with putting a young player, just throw him straight into the action to just try to spark something for your side.
Peter Bell couldn't quite take that mark. Kurtafidis trying to scoop it out. And the scramble continues. Opening 2 goals to the Dockers. Last time these two teams met was in round 1 over at Subiaco. The Dockers comfortably home by 47 points, but all their 5 wins against Carlton have come at Subiaco. Here's a chance as Thornton drives it forward for the Blues, inside 50 for the first time. Waite couldn't get clear. Shammer can. Runs wide, spreads it, misses the target. He's looking for Woods. Lappin. Shammer just got a hand on it to knock it down though. Favola couldn't find Camporelli. Slaps it forward, looking for Matty Lappin. It's over the boundary line, and let's head down to Tiffany Cherry.
Well, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm finding it difficult to distinguish between the umpires and Fremantle, with both wearing white. What do you think?
Well, Fremantle's got the red V as well. Tiff?
Yeah, I know, but just from where I was looking from down here, ground level, it's quite difficult.
And they've got baggier shorts too. And I tell you what, they're playing good football. They've got a lot of confidence. Longmuir just wobbles the ball down towards the edge of the centre square. There's Lappin. Met front on. Goes to ground. Just tried to get the handball away. Couldn't do so. Walker comes in hard for Fremantle. Tied up in the tackle. And we've got a ball up on the edge of the centre square. I reckon the umpires look great.
Well, that's only because you've got shorts like that at home.
There's Walker. Arguably the fastest player in the AFL. Saw him at the grand final sprint. Beat everyone by about 25 metres.
Like to see someone faster.
They pile on top. Kurtafidis has been very desperate with a couple of tackles in this first quarter. Just get the feeling that Terry just might have to really let himself go today.
Yeah, you would think so. If they're going to have a chance in this game, they need all their better players playing well, and Cooter's exactly that.
Now he's doing some ruck work. Taken away that time by Thornton. Copped a hard one. Scotland kicks a high ball back to centre for DeLuca. He's got to hit it hard. Off hands. Johnston has pounced on it. Bouncing. Wrong side. Now, the ball has went the wrong side of the post. So, unfortunately for Johnson, we saw that last night, didn't we, over in Adelaide? A couple of easy goals missed, and makes you wonder how guys can miss goals when they're set running into open goals. Chance for Dion Woods.
Gives it off to Matthew Pavlich, and they go down the line, the Dockers. Spoil comes, Peter Bell in the right spot. Clever handball in the end to Hadrill. Cook, scrambling kick inside the 50. Livingston going back. He's right on top of Troy Simmons. Wraps him up nicely. We'll have a ball up. Umpires Brett Allen, Kieran Nichols and Darren Goldspink. That is Darren Goldspink in control of that decision.
Matthew, you want to open up this area? It's a real opportunity for Fremantle to score.
Oh, especially with the height they have in the ruckman there, and you see the whole forward 50 is open for a nice blitz hit, but unfortunately Fremantle didn't get a hit away.
Brett Thornton just getting a heavy tackle before as Scotland, long kick. Over the top came DeLuca, couldn't take it. Crumming Parker to Thornton. Promising young player as Walker drives it forward, and this time Seagate has got it. 80 metres out from the Dockers' goal, gets a lead, honours that lead. Medhurst couldn't take it. He gets a free kick. I'm not sure it was there, but it's useless talking about it because Medhurst will take a shot at goal from just about right on the 50.
They've had a couple of dubious free kicks in the forward 50, so you've just got to make the most of those opportunities if they come your way.
Medhurst, 36 goals for the season, coming off a half century last year, so he's headed in the same direction.
Carlton up the other end of the ground are almost playing the Pagans paddock setup. They've virtually had Favola playing around the middle of the ground most of the first quarter so far.
Yeah, there's no one inside their forward 50 as Medhurst finds Bell with a superb kick. Great skills shown by the megastar, and Peter Bell is lining up for goal number 2 early in this second term. He's kicked 18 coming into the game, so lining up for goal number 20, but more importantly for the Dockers, to give them a 17-point lead. The best and fairest leans back, and misses. So perhaps, KB, it is a bit contagious.
Well, let off the hook. Peter Bell hasn't always been a big goal kicker throughout his career. 207 games for 186 goals. But has kicked the opening goal for the Dockers today. Stevens to bring the ball back into play. Just needs some sort of spark early in the game, Carlton. They've been very ordinary so far. And there's Polak. Young man in a hurry. He's got a lot of talent. Cook coming down from the half-back line. Hits the ground running. Coming out was Simmons. It was a good thump away. Simmons playing his 100th game. Coming through hard was Shammer without the ball. Now the whistle is gone. The free kick's going to Koutafidis.
He was the only one that had absolute eyes for the ball, originally going for the ball, and was just held onto in the contest.
Favola's the target. He was on the stretch, forced under the ball that time by Hadrill. At ground level, Johnson tried to paddle the ball along, taken by Morrell. Rockets the ball back to Johnson. Missed an easy goal a few moments ago. Inside 50, the whistle's gone. It's a free kick to Luca. And look at Scott Thornton with a wry grin on his face. He's only played 11 games, but he's learnt very quickly.
Well, the free kick was paid for holding on.
Well, they're paying him at both ends. I mean, that's the only thing that you can say. Just having a look at the replay, but geez, there wasn't much in that one either.
Matthew?
No wonder the Thornton's going off his head there at the umpire. There's not too much in that at all, and an easy goal coming up for Carlton maybe.
DeLuca to give the Blues a spark. Rams at home. I'm back on the Blues.
Doesn't take much, KB.
Oh, great to see that our setting department has put a seesaw up here in the commentary box for Kevin to sit on. Of course, this is part of Fox Footy Super Saturday. We'll be with you right through up until the game between the Brisbane Lions and Sydney Swans at the SCG. So stay with us after the game. We'll have the coaches' press conferences. We'll take a look at last night's game, preview the games coming up, and also take your calls on Super Saturday. DeLuca with the opening goal for Carlton, and Terry's played every game in his debut season. It's been a really good start for him, and a surprise really from Port Melbourne.
Well, he's got two assets, hasn't he? He can ruck, but then he draws the ball as a forward. Does a great job in there as well.
French did nicely to get it to Camporelli in a 1-2, got it back and then gave it to Stevens. Now DeLuca, we said he's going well, and he drops the mark. Johnson just banging it forward. It should sit for the Dockers. Woods does well. Headland goes wide to Pavlich, who kicks long. Spotted Sandilands. Barnaby French just did enough. Now McGrath's got to beat a couple. Well, it came back towards French, but Sandilands got there first. The two big ruckmen doing well at ground level, and it's still in there. Umpire refuses to blow the whistle. Here's Smith in his first game for the Dockers. To Shammer. Just hooks the ball towards centre forward. He wanted McManus. Now Carlton have the numbers, and they've got Camporelli free in the middle of the ground. Headland approaches. Camporelli spots Waite, and he's got it. Too far out to kick a goal. Favola wants it. Waite instead going to kick to the goal square. DeLuca goes back. It goes over the back. Koutafidis knocks it back into play, and it's hit the behind post. So we'll have a throw in. Carlton still in the attacking zone.
Well, when they're going forward, Carlton, they look dangerous. They've got a three-pronged attack with Waite, DeLuca and Favola all down in that area. Probably just trying to get some of the inexperienced defenders deep for Fremantle.
DeLuca, well, he thought about taking it, and he's been pinned. Now, did he take possession or did he drop it?
Oh, you never know with umpires with the ruck rules. You have to speak to KB about that rule.
KB's on the rules committee, but I'm not sure.
Rules committee is doing a fantastic job, by the way. I'd just like to point that out very early in the first quarter. Sandlands. Have you ever played against Sandlands, Matty?
No, I haven't come across him yet, and I'm not looking forward to it either.
Oh, it'd be too good for you. Ball goes wide. Thornton keen to get things moving. Finds Bell. He's at centre half back. Great vision. Drops it in short to Hadrill. The run comes from Dion Woods. Just lopes along centre wing and hits Simmons on the chest. Long way from goal. He's on centre wing. Kicked 30 goals for the season. He's playing game number 100. Chance for McManus. Didn't see Lappin, goes to ground. They want holding the ball. Play on, says the umpire. Bell gets the ball back to Simmons. Unloads. Leaves nothing behind. It's a big bomb. And hands and knees at the back of the pack was Farmer. Crunched that time by Morrell. It was a good, strong tackle by Farmer. He's ferocious in close. Chance for McManus. Caught high. and will take the free kick. Good tackling by Jeff Farmer. I know a couple of weeks ago there was that very celebrated incident when he went up to the tribunal, but he is very, very strong at tackling, closes very quickly.
Yeah, I think their forward pressure, Fremantle's forward pressure has been fantastic the first 10 minutes of the game. The tackle got him a couple of shots on goal, and this will be their third one. So it's a great start for them, especially when you travel on the road.
And just for you, KB, the umpires are not frightened to give free kicks inside 50. What's that now, the fourth for the game?
Well, you've got to pay them if they're there, Terry.
That's the instruction from Kevin Bartlett at the meetings.
If they're there.
Veteran of 162 games, a couple of knee operations. Sean McManus pops it through. No response from the Robert Heatley stand.
Not his best kick. He's only kicked that about 30 metres, but they're a 2-goal lead. All he had to do was pop it through.
I didn't realise you had to kick it 50 to get a goal.
No, you should kick through the ball, Terry. You know that. Kick through the ball, do your normal drop punt. Isn't that right, Matthew?
Certainly is, Matthew.
There was a couple of free kicks there, so you could take your pick, as you see here. Right across the neck, and then Corey McGrath came sliding into his back afterwards. So McManus, who was terrific a couple of weeks ago against the Crows, kicks his first. Sean McManus kicking the Dockers a third goal, his 75th goal in his career, his 6th for the season. And the Dockers lead by 2 goals, looking for their 5th win on the road. People said they couldn't win away. They've lost games at home this year. Johnson, clearance, but Thornton playing in front, takes the mark to Dion Woods. Now, Carlton had manned up pretty well there. Woods had to kick to a contest. Matty Lappin got in there. Johnson's going to be run down by McManus. Got it back. Carlton still with possession, or have they? Camporelli wrapped up, couldn't get an arm free, but he had the free kick for a high tackle earlier. Camporelli gets a lead from Koutafidis and honours it beautifully. And the Dockers defence just all looked at each other there, said, well, is he yours? Is he yours? And he just went on his own.
Well, that was just too easy. The Dockers, both sides are actually playing a spare man back down in their defensive ends at the moment. And Digby Morrell had run all the way down the other side of the ground, offering up an opportunity. There should have been every single Blues man inside 50 covered off, but they were just zoning, waiting for Brendan Favola. You never let this man, Anthony Koutafidis, out.
He's missed a few goals this year, Kuta. 7 goals, 9, and he's missed a couple of set shots so far this season. Important kick just to get that one back that McManus just got, and he has missed it. Tugged it left, and just behind. Let's go down the boundary. Tiff Cherry.
Well, a lot of the players are wearing their moulded boots, but you may have noticed quite a few have slipped. So despite the sunny conditions, the ground is quite greasy, yet none have changed their boots as yet.
Thanks, Tiff. Thornton kicks the ball wide to a big pack of players. Hadrill takes the grab.
Ian Collins has got something to do with this ground as well. Is that why they're slipping?
Stop it.
Well, we've got the roof open today. Chance for Bell. Just continues to run hard. The playmaker, the general of the midfield. Simmons does well out in front.
Well, that's why I just think the Telstra Dome grounds are nonsense, because they're going to slip wherever they play football.
Looking for Farmer. He was caught underneath the ball. Trying to crash his way through that time is Thornton.
What about being the Heritage Round? You just put the sprinklers on for about 4 weeks so everyone plays in mud.
Well, they've brought Ian Stewart back, have they?
There's Matthew Pavlich getting a bit of a rub. Longmuir, the juggler, fires the ball out. They'll share it around. Hazelby back to Headland, stands and delivers right to the line, and off hands, and Teague good enough to push it through for a behind. Des Headland hasn't quite been the player with the Dockers as he was in that final season with the Brisbane Lions when he was an absolute star leading the grand final in the premiership. Not quite as good, Terry?
Yeah, I think it says more about the Brisbane Lions than what it actually says about Des Headland.
He was a dominating player, wasn't he? He was leading that final series and polled so well in the Brownlow medal. Just hasn't quite been as good with the Dockers. Here's Stevens, who's taking him on. Backs himself in. Low down his weight. He's always had a lot of ability. He looked the real goods last year. Favola gets it from Kuta. Now he's a thumping kick. He'll fancies his chances. But Jared Wade is an interesting player. He's had problems this year, you know, missed out on pre-season early games, but he always looks like he's got talent. He's tall, he's agile, and he's quick.
Now, he's going to be a very good player. And the thing I like about Brendan Favola, he's going to kick this from outside 50, but there was never any doubt in his mind. Didn't look up, didn't look around at chipping the ball off to another player running into space. Knows his abilities, just goes back and has his shot for goal.
An inspiring player for the Blues, Favola. He'll shoot from 55 metres. He's booted 57 goals for the season. Got very close to the man on the mark. He's leaning to the right, which means he's pushed it to the left.
He just, I think you called it right, KB. He just got too close to the man on the mark that time. Just didn't work out his steps correctly.
Now, this young man, Thornton, is a real talent. Just playing his 11th game. Young man from Springvale. He was dynamic when we saw him against Adelaide Crows. Terrific. Fantastic. Obviously, he keeps out of the sun over in Western Australia as well, so slip, slop and slap, he's doing the right thing. Bell running with a fly to the ball, got the call from Pavlich, good enough to keep the ball alive. He's across half back. Simmons has really been a target. Ran at the ball hard. Livingston made it a real contest. Chance now for Stevens. Didn't really hit a target. It was good play that time by Brown. Intercepted back to Simmons inside 50. Quick kick, danger here for the Blues. Thumping the ball away was Bowyer. And the free kick is going to the Blues.
David Teague will take the kick. 20 plays 9, and Carlton have missed a few opportunities. Johnson, Koutafidis, Favola, all could have kicked goals. Fremantle have made the most of theirs. Thornton now to DeLuca. Carlton looking to move it through the middle of the ground. Teague has run on. Just a little bit of indecision before he went long to Koutafidis. Well-weighted kick. Here's Stevens. Could perhaps go for home. Here's shocking kick. Thornton. Walker's still in the contest though for the Blues. He's got to beat 3. Parker, with his experience, didn't panic. Just slid it across to Troy Cook, who kicks very high. Medhurst wants it. Medhurst gets a free kick. Now Houlihan will be very upset with that. I thought it was a good spoil.
There wasn't much in it. One of the more unusual interchanges I've seen. Both Ruckman come off Longmuir and French. Sandilands to replace Longmuir, but Walker actually come on to replace French.
Well, Farmer's got clear. Against the Blues, I'm not sure what for. That's not bad from the Wizard. Hit the post. He kicked that from almost outside the boundary.
He's ready to give the crowd a kiss too, I think. He was waiting to see if it went through.
That's a tough pocket to kick goals from too here at Optus Oval. It was a marvellous attempted goal. 3-3 to 1-3. It's still 2 straight kicks in it. Just over 4 minutes remaining as Camporelli goes to Thornton, who didn't see Simmons, who slaps it back to Bell. Peter Bell. Is this number 2? It is. Two goals, 1 to Peter Bell. They get a 3-goal lead, the Dockers, and just a case of Thornton not knowing what was around him.
Well, it's a couple of times now, Matthew, that we've seen players from the opposition, or from both sides, take off once they've taken possession of a mark without actually having the awareness of what's around them.
Yeah, as I said before, I just think it's the forward pressure from the Fremantle. Carlton aren't quite switched on there. That backman there tried to run out, and their forward pressure cost them again. I think that's the second goal the Fremantle got because of their forward pressure.
And Matthew, I don't think Carlton's forward pressure has been anywhere near good enough. A couple of tackles got slipped before. Shane Parker was able to come out of defence. You know, with young Walker and Waite down there, they're not really strongly built forwards, are they? And they're very inexperienced, so a lot will depend upon how much pressure they can put on the defence.
It does. It's also pretty hard to have pressure when you're playing in a paddock situation too.
Here's a chance. Andrew Walker goes short, finds DeLuca. He's been handy at centre-half forward. Too much carrying the ball for Waite. There's a chance. It can set up Camporelli with a check side kick. What a goal!
Well, yeah, they don't have the forward pressure there, but what they do is have open space. So it's a bit of a playoff, Matthew, isn't it? Just which way they're actually going to set themselves up. And that was just wonderful play by the Blues in lead-up. I agree with KB. I've just got a real sense that young Wade is going to be an outstanding player. Just get, say, a season under his belt where he has an uninterrupted season, and I think he's a real chance. But that's the way they love to play their footy. Just run onto the football.
Goal number 16 for the season for number 16, Scott Camberelli. Lovely little gift from Matthew Lappin. So two of their most skillful players combining to get Carlton second and margin back to 2 goals. Koudafidi's in the middle, but beaten to it by Smith. Headland now, got it from Cook. Going forward. Livingston couldn't take it. This is Brown. Heads to the goal square. 2-on-1. And that wins out with Bowyer just getting his kick away. It's a good one, though. Scotland. He's clear. Carlton can run. Great chase. Wonderful chase by the Dockers. Hadrill. And that's Medhurst, the man that was chasing. Spot Sandlin's in the middle. Gives it off to Hazelby. In turn, Cook. Gave Lappin the don't argue. Umpire says, play on! So they do. Johnson underneath it all, wrapping it up. We've got a ball up. The Carlton fans aren't happy.
Well, you can see the Blues, with most of their players, of course, really pushing back, quite flooding Optus Oval. They want to make certain that every time they get the ball, the Dockers, that there's not going to be much space for them.
I thought that was a poor decision. Troy Cook decided to take on Matthew Lappin. Lappin wrapped him up. I thought he should have been received a free kick for that.
Superb tackle from Lappin as Sandilands just knocks it forward. McManus give on the up. Pavlich has been very good in this first term. Heads towards the goal square once again. Again Carlton with the numbers, and Teague, who knows no fear, will always go backwards into a pack. Spoils over the line once again.
He's had a terrific first season with the Blues, David Teague. Started his career under Dennis Pagan with the Kangaroos, now followed him across to Carlton. And it's been the linchpin of their defence this year. Boundary throw in, a good 30 metres around from goal for the Dockers. Hazelby with those wonderful hands and silky skills. Finds McManus on the arc, on the turn. High flyer that time was Longmuir. Ball thumped through for a behind. 8 possessions of Koudafides, 6 to Nick Stevens, and for the Dockers, 7 to Peter Bell plus his 2 goals, 7 to Hazelby, 6 to Troy Cook. So those midfield running players.
7 to Pavlich as well.
They're the ones you've got to close down. Pavlich, of course, is an on-baller. They win so much of the ball. They just keep pumping the ball inside 50. It'll be very difficult for the Blues. Johnson.
Corey McGrath's actually gone now to Peter Bell after his start. Just those 2 goals.
Favola. Waiting down was Walker. Just couldn't quite tickle the ball in. Taken away this time, trying to break the tackle. That was Dylan Smith. And he's been caught.
Favola's on here.
So it's a throw. So Bannister will take the free kick. He's on centre wing. Didn't quite make contact. (4-4) 28 the Dockers. The Blues 2-3-15. They trail by 13 points. Headland swung around in the tackle. Camberelli on hands and knees. Koudafides working very hard in close. Now this can bounce. This could bounce. Wrong side. It's kept alive and then finally forced over by Parker. Boundary throw-in, so a chance for the Blues. Lappin on screen.
Carlton players asking the question about whether that was deliberate or not. It would have been a tough call to give that one against the Fremantle side.
Yes, good call by the umpire. Boundary throw-in, so it's a chance for the Blues. Sandlands just reaches over. Chance for Waite! Snaps a goal! Just his second goal for the season. He's only playing game number 25, as we said before. So interrupted leading into this year. But a kid with a lot of talent.
Well, he's just been very impressive, hasn't he? Just the wherewithal to know where the goals are there under enormous pressure, was being swung around by his opponent, and nothing wrong with the pressure put on by the defenders, but he was prepared to get the front spot and got the rewards for it.
Jared Waite, excellent goal. So late in this first term, the Blues have got it back to 7 points. There's Adam Bentic at the back. He's on for his first game of league football, number 40. That's him on screen there with Dylan Smith in his first game for the Dockers. But 84 possessions to 56, and Carlton within 7 points. But the Dockers have got a chance for another goal. Here's Longmuir. Just slides to ground. Morrell right with him. Simmons then sliding in and under and getting the free kick. will be Scotty Camberelli. Inside the last minute of the first term, Carlton got a man on the wing. It's Corey McGrath. He kicks to the lead of Waite. Thornton did well, did enough to spoil and found the boundary line. And certainly helped over by Jared Waite. But I think they'll be pretty pleased, Terry, but to be this close, given the glut of possession that Fremantle had, especially in that first half of this quarter.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And that's just those two men that have just been on screen there have both had a terrific duel. Waite just needed to take that one out in his hands rather than try to take the ball on the chest.
Kutafiti's in front doing the ruck work. Hazelby underneath. That's going to be holding the ball. That was always going to be holding the ball. No attempt really to get rid of it. Scotland gives it to Kutafiti's. Perhaps the clock against Carlton late in this term. Teague, the spoil code from Medhurst. Favola crawling on hands and knees. Hadrill goes back to Bell and they work it well. Sandilands gives it off to Smith. Headland. Good defence shown there by the Dockers. They run hard. Walker to Hazelby. Hazelby, little give back through to Medhurst, but time beats the Fremantle Dockers. They've been in control of this game right from the start, and at quarter time they lead 4-4. Carlton 3-3. It's a 7-point margin to the away side, and they'll be pretty pleased with their effort so far. Carlton, well, they're hanging in there, even though the Dockers had so much more of the ball. It's quarter time here at Optus Oval. It's the Dockers by 7 points.
Matt Primer said he's a certainty for Adelaide.
No, if I was coaching Richmond at the moment, I'd say put KB onto a forward pocket.
You idiot.
We're underway. Stevens can't get past Pavlich. He did in the end to give it to Johnson. Back to Clark, who started on the bench. Burrows through. Hazelby couldn't quite get boots of ball.
I knew I'd shut him up, though.
Johnson. Scotland. It's hard work. Seagate knocks it forward. It's still very hard to get an effective clearance. It's almost like a rolling maul there in a rugby game. Clark to Johnson, kicks it high. Camperelli, spoiled well, Kutafiti's. Clean hands to Scotland, got a call out wide and he honours it. It's Brett Johnson. Inside the forward 50, one-on-one, Hadrill and Favola. Hadrill made the best position and follows it up and knocks it forward. Somehow though, Favola gets the ball, kicks it long, it goes across the front of the goal square. Just sneaking in for a behind. Tiff Cherry on the boundary.
Well, Adam Houlihan's getting a fair bit of work done on his groin, indicating a sort of osteitis pubis type of problem, but yeah, he's in the hands of the trainers at the moment.
Kutafiti's really strutting his stuff today at Optus Oval. He's had 11 possessions, 5 kicks and 6 handballs. Just trying to inspire the Mighty Blues today. Here's a chance. Sandlands goes short, and the hard run comes from Seagate.
Well, that's what they do very well, KB, isn't it? Just their ability to run the lines like that, to just get players from behind the ball to work just that fraction harder than their opponents, make space coming up into the forward end and be able to set themselves up like that. Good play.
Hasn't kicked a goal this season. 28 games, just 1 goal in his career. Not quite certain whether that tells us anything, Matty.
Played mainly in the back line or a run with roll.
If
Hasn't
he
been up
kicks
forward a lot.
He could celebrate from right on 50. He's going to start bending it back, bends back, and bangs it through. Obviously a wasted talent down back.
He's never missed a set shot on goal.
Never. It's a lovely kick.
Beautiful kick. And just what the Dockers are looking for, the first goal of the second term.
He's got the job on Nick Stevens, so it's a great effort there, running hard forward when they turned it over. And if you're tagging a player, it's always good to kick a goal and just tightens them up a little bit.
It is. It's great play when that happens, isn't it? I mean, just the ability to be able to lock them down and stop them a little bit, but get something back for your side.
Seagate with just his 3rd disposal, but it's an important one. He kicks a goal. Stevens has got 8 disposals, not 8 goals.
Well, KB, don't worry about putting you in the forward pocket for the Tigers. We might need you in the forward pocket for the Blues if you're going to get them home here.
I'm very confident about the Blues.
We have to work out who you're actually going with at the moment.
Well, I heard
Pavlich.
Terry before the game, earlier this week, in all those newspaper columns he writes for on radio stations and TV stations, he tipped Carlton. And then after they came out on Thursday night, he changed his tipping on half those networks and tipped the Dockers.
Well, he can do that because he'll be coaching next year. Clark, Favola, strong hands but just couldn't quite get it. Woods put enough pressure on. Now he's dragged that in. He's going to be in trouble holding the ball. You just can't get on the ground and drag the ball in. Johnson was pinged. Pavlich getting plenty of it. Wants Longmuir. Livingston jumped in front of him. Longmuir's got no support. Just has to bang it forward. Simmons went one hand. Bowyer did well. Lappin can go over the top to Camporelli. Should get the shepherd from DeLuca and does. Camporelli up the middle of the ground looking for Koutoufides. Good spoil though from Woods. Kouta waited, paid the price. Grover caught, slung in the tackle and just forces it forward. A second chance now for Koutoufides. Poor kick. A turnover. Grover kept his arms free. And then dives back on the ball. But it spills now to Scotland. He's away. Kicks long towards centre forward, but it's all the Dockers. And going back and taking the mark is Polak.
Polak at centre-half back. It's interesting to see a lot of the players now, as soon as they go to ground, they try and get rid of that ball, trying to tunnel ball it out. Taken away by Brown. He's on centre wing, drills the ball in and finds Simmons.
KB, I agree with you. I just think it's cleared up the rule.
My word.
Players now know exactly what they can and can't do, and they'll try to drag it out. Yes, it's tough at times for the bloke that's going in and getting it, but I think as a game it makes it a lot clearer to those watching just exactly what the ruling is.
Rules Committee doing a fantastic job, endorsed by Terry
What
Wallace.
were the Rules Committee doing there with Farmer and Morrell? They just weren't looking.
Now, Matty, he's a ruckman who's gone to full forward. How have you seen Simmons' role at full forward?
I think it's been fantastic. He gives them a target down there. They probably lack a tall, strong target, and I think all year he's been fantastic, and he's got pretty good skills for a big bloke.
Well, this is a beautiful kick. It may have just fallen left and through for a behind. So Simmons coming into this game with 30 goals and playing game number 100 today. So a nice milestone for Troy Simmons. Well, I think I told you, Matty, at the latest
Yes.
Bartlett reunion, someone said he's on the Bartlett family tree there somewhere.
Yes, he's a lover of Gurnet.
So we've played 504 games between us. There's a chance for Vavola. Keeps the ball alive. Parker wants a kind bounce. Gets support from Sandlands. Back to Thornton. Changes direction, then hammers the ball back to centre-half forward. Simmons again. Bounced off the chest. Camporelli with those quick hands. Gets support from Scotland, who loves to run with the ball through the centre square to open space. Here's Waite. He's got it. Young man with plenty of talent has marked directly in front, and he'll be shooting from 40 metres.
Well, he has been the danger man in the forward structure so far, and that's exactly what you want as a forward, especially when you've got open space like they're playing at the moment with a Paddock. Is a deep kick, and Heath Scotland produced that for Waite to be able to run onto the ball. I'm not quite sure about Brendan Favola playing so far up the ground. He's had 6 possessions so far in the match, but normally that 6 possessions would have produced 2 or 3 goals.
Jared Waite directly in front. His father was a great backman. He just might make his mark as a forward. Waite leans back. Kicked it like a backman.
As soon as you give him a wrap.
Must be the genes coming through. Through for a behind. Thornton brings the ball in very quickly. Finds Dion Woods. He just goes about his game, Dion Woods, doesn't he? He's one of those unobtrusive players with long arms and does the job. Sandlands wanting to get rid of DeLuca. He's got good skills for someone who's 7'8". Taken away by Hadrill, goes wide. That's a good kick. Simmons there. Dropped the sitter, good enough to recover. Rockets the ball wide, finds Grover. They backtrack, they conceded ground. Inside 50. Coming out is Lappin. To Teague. Just trying to generate something. Across half back. And poor kick. In fact, that was Stevens who brought the ball away. So not a black mark against Teague. That's a black mark. And that goes against Polak. That was a monumental stuff-up.
One thing you
the
can't
first MSU today.
The one thing you can't do in our game, KB, is that one-step kicking where you just try to kick the ball off one step without getting yourself balanced in a forward motion.
Jot that down for Hawthorn and Richmond players.
Long kick. Big pack forming. Walker flew, but Morrell was in front. Take your pick, Carlton fans.
It's going to be a long day.
Before half-time, we're certain Terry Wallace will tell us who he's coaching this year, won't he, Matty?
Absolutely. Now, the trainer's being told to get off the ground because he ran through the mark, so a little bit of a hold up there. So Digby Morrell.
And you're not out of contract, are you, Matthew?
No, I've got another 2 years to go, Terry.
Well, you hope, Matthew. You hope. Make sure that knee stands up. Digby Morrell, where the Dockers leading by 12 points. They're the only side to kick a goal in this turn. It's taken a very long time. The Dockers should have manned up pretty well here. Longmuir slides in. He wanted Teague. Koutafiti's read it well. Again, there's the open forward line, but the kick is off the side of the boot. In fact, it's gone sideways. He may even get it back himself. White went without Pavlich. Superb skills. Thornton out in front of Shammer. There's 3 Dockers out there, and they've got plenty of time. Shammer steadies. Heads long towards Simmons. Livingston, good spoil. Simmons appeals for the free kick.
It's a great matchup out here. We've got Pavlich and Koutafiti. So Pavlich was meant to be the new Koutafiti when he first jumped on the scene. So it should be a great matchup all day if they stay on each other.
Top 5 in the rankings, and Pavlich there, even though he's only got 8 disposals, is in that top 5. Clark ran into his teammate in Thornton. Here's Seagate. Couldn't clear it. Now Stevens has gone down. Hit the ground heavy.
I'd like to have another look at it. I think he might have got kicked.
It's pretty tough.
I think what happened was the ball got knocked out of Seagate's hand, and Seagate might have actually ended up kicking his opponent.
Good call, Terry. We'll miss that next year. Here's a chance for the Dockers. Going forward and sliding in. Now he's... No, mark hasn't been paid. Play on the umpire. The Dockers are expecting the mark. Carlton weren't. Morrell. Straight up the middle of the ground. White on a lead. Gets the running from Lappin. Lappin to Favola. And he's got it on the 50-metre line. No one in the goal square. But he should be able to get home from here. Is he not going to take his time?
Cooter's got back.
Heads to the goal square. It doesn't reach Koutafiti's. Lappin got in the way. Here's Pavlich now. He breaks free for the Dockers.
Just the lack of talk there, because Cooter could have taken a chest mark or maybe even called Lappin into the mark as Grover comes away from half back, belts the ball back towards the half forward line. Bowyer, tough in the clinches. Good enough to get the handball away, and Teague finally takes it over for a toss back in. 23 plays 35. It's the Dockers by 12 points. Koutafiti's with 13 possessions. Stevens with 11. And for the Dockers, Hazelby and Woods with 10 apiece.
Koutafiti's has taken Pavlich straight back to full forward to get him out of the play.
Boundary throw in. Stevens weaves his way through traffic. Finds Johnson. Hammers the ball back towards centre half forward. He was looking for Waite. Young man got an ugly bounce. Thornton got a kind one. Parker, the veteran, still super quick. Digby Morrell playing in front. Couldn't take it on the second grab. Polak with clean hands. Good players don't fumble. Here's Hazelby. Gives it across. Brown can set it up, goes short. Unselfish play. And finds Medhurst, who looked to be in 2 minds then. He wanted to handball it to the goal square to Simmons, but will be shooting from just 20 metres out.
It still amazes me, Matthew, why you would even bother when you're only 20 metres out trying to get a goal from 5 metres out. Why not just go back and have a confidence enough to kick your goal from 20 metres?
Yeah, Medhurst might have a loud voice out there, and that's why. But
I didn't even think about it when I was 80 metres out. He's popped it through. It's a goal.
obviously in the midfield here, I really do think someone needs to stop Nick Stevens getting it. He's just creating so much ball from virtually all the stoppages. Even though he kicked the goal in before, he's just creating so much run. And having played with him for a few years, he does have a great engine. It looks as if he's going to run Seagate off his feet. So I don't know who else Fremantle got to put on him there, but certainly a player they have to watch.
Well, 12 possessions already in the game. He's mounted up his moves, and it'll be interesting with the Pavlich Koutafiti's where they'll go for the rest of the game.
Paul Medhurst with his first goal for the afternoon, and handy little break here for the Dockers. 3 goals in front, and goals are pretty hard to come by for the Blues at the minute. Sandilands It's Bentic in underneath that. There he is again. Looking to break clear. He couldn't. The big Sandilands got the tackle. Pavlich got it from Walker. Brown's in trouble, but he got it free. Parker missed Koutafidis, didn't. Scotland, he is a very good kick of the football. He runs the 40 metres out, and as soon as you say he's a good kick, he misses. He doesn't usually miss many of those. He is a good finisher. Let's go down to Tiff Cherry on the boundary.
Ryan Houlihan has just had his lower abdominal strap. They actually took his shorts off and strapped him up. You can see him at the moment on the boundary line just trying to stretch out his lower abdominals, his groin, but he's in a fair bit of pain.
Doesn't look good for Ryan Houlihan. Looks a bit better here for Smith. Can he get past Koutafidis? Now, did he have possession? The ball is still in play. French to Camporelli. Looking for White. Good kick, good take. That's better out in front of the hands. White can go to the pocket or kick it along to Favola. Decides Favola is the better option. Heads to the goal square. Fisher got in front, and again, perhaps a little bit of communication, but it's a lot easier to say that from up here when the ball's coming in fast and hard in front of goal.
I think he could have given it across to Young Walker. Young Walker was on the other side of the man on the mark. He would have been able to run virtually into goal. I think that Young Waite there just got caught in two minds. Ball kicked wide in front of Walker. Bounces over the line for a boundary throw-in.
I just hope that we see Favola stay at home at full forward for some point in time. Well, Carlton have only kicked 3 goals for the match. Waite's been fantastic, but play those 2 players inside 50, but have Favola closer to home so he at least can get a goal-scoring ability out of him.
Well, we have seen today Waite is very quick. It's the Dockers by 16 points. Chance for Stevens, this time in the tackle, brought down by Bell.
Bentic running with Bell, so in his first game he's running with one of the best.
And that's a pretty big job, isn't it, for the young boy from St Bernard's and quarter under 18s. He was captain last year. First game of AFL football, running with the All-Australian. Dockers captain Peter Bell, premiership player. Here's strength from Pavlich. Broke 2 tackles, loose ball. Digby Morrell gets an instruction from Bentic. Well done by the young man, stands and delivers it. Got smothered off the boot by Pavlich. That was great play. Sandlands, quick for his size. Shammer loves the run with the ball. Through the centre square and drills it to the Wiz, who bounces on his toes. Didn't get back from the man on the mark. It could bounce. Chance now taken away. This is good play. Clark put the foot on the accelerator. Goes wide. Finds Bentic. Got to get back from that man on the mark, as Terry Wallace said before. Goes short and finds Fisher. And Fisher can take a mark. He's a very dangerous player.
He's hurt his knee.
He's hurt his knee, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Now we may see that might have been when he fell. And you can see him there grimacing.
You don't like to see that at the best of times, Matthew?
No.
Had to pull that kick too.
No,
So he's in trouble. Camporelli squeezed up on the boundary line as we see Fisher. That's a blow, limping. Tiffany Cherry will bring us up to date with Brad Fisher. And we'll certainly get a report when we see what sort of treatment they want to give him. Tiffany Cherry.
Yeah, it was actually as he landed, it's his right knee. He kept indicating pain in his right knee.
Let us know what sort of checking out they do with that knee.
Oh, well.
Manny Primus, if you need a second opinion, can give it to us. Here's Cooter, goes wide. And Cooter is strutting his stuff today. He's been magnificent. 15 possessions to Cooter. Just stepped out of a telephone box with a big S on his chest.
And as Terry said before, he's taken Pavlich to the goal square there, and Pavlich, he's played there a little bit, but he wouldn't be too familiar with that area. Cooter knows how to play pretty well, so...
He was All-Australian full-back, wasn't he? I think he played there one game.
Yeah, he played there one game. Well, that was against Treadrail when we played, and he kicked 6 on him, so I don't think it's his position.
Kevin Bartlett's an All-Australian selector. Perhaps we can take that up with him during...
Easily the best fullback of that year. There's McGrath. Bad year for fullbacks, obviously.
Oh, terrible.
McGrath, can he kick a goal for Carlton? Yes, he can.
Well, I think Dennis Pagan's done a good job with his troops so far. They've been outgunned in the middle of the ground, but they've been able to manufacture ways to goals. If they can get Brendan Favola into the mix as well, that'll be perfect. And Matty Primus was exactly right with that move. It's worked out really well for the Carlton side, just having taken Pavlich out of the game a little bit, and Kudafiti still delivers as a forward.
It's the Kudafitis of old at the moment. Just McGrath's second goal of the season. And there's a bit of byplay going on at the Fremantle Dockers here. But real problems for Carlton at the moment with Houlihan and Fisher. So got some injury concerns, down on numbers. 10 points the margin. Carlton's first goal for the second term took 18 minutes. Here's Stevens. Camporelli. McGrath. Just forced it forward, kept it going in the right direction. And there's a whistle on the plane. It's going to come all the way back. No, eventually the umpire's got it right. So the free was downfield, and it goes to Johnson, who's had plenty of possession as well. Long ball, wants Favola. Well done, Scotland. And under pressure, that one goes a bit too wide, out of bounds on the full. Let's head back down to the boundary again, Tiff.
Don't expect to see Brad Fisher come back on. It's indicating through what he was saying to the doctors that it's his right cartilage in his knee.
Thanks, Tiff, as McManus has it for the Dockers. Back through the middle to Thornton. He's away. Didn't see Lappin coming. Now, did he throw that? It doesn't matter. Umpire said play on. McManus. Woods. Shammer. Lovely left foot pass to Polak, who's up forward. Polak waits for Simmons to give him a lead. Here comes Teague. He left his man. Went the big spoil. Ran 30 metres off of Medhurst to get to that contest. And now we'll just jog back over towards him. Carlton fans still pretty upset about that decision. Here's Thornton. Yeah, that is a throw. No wonder they're upset.
Great play by David Teague all the same. Just selfless, just gives up his own game to help his teammates.
Longmuir, it was taken away by Bentic and shown a little bit, this young man, playing his first game for the Blues. Good hands again by Wade, gives it across to Camporelli, the playmaker. Now, it's downfield, and the free kick is going to Scotland. Now, Matty Campbell said usually he's a very good kick. He might be just too far out to score.
No, it's a soda.
He'll be shooting from just inside, maybe just outside 50.
Is it almost a guarantee that if you miss one free kick, you're guaranteed to get the next one?
You have to ask Kevin.
It's Scotland. Jared Waite's in the square. Favola's got his hands on his knees. Scotland stands on 50 towards the Robert Heatley stand. Some pushing and shoving, and Parker. Just not enough Carlton players back there. You've got to be back on the line. You've got to contest strongly on the line there. No point having just one against one. You want to get to numbers in your favour. Carlton players have to push back. Favola should have been there as well. Here's Dion Woods. He's just come off the bench. Strolls to half back. Backs himself. Charges through the centre square. Great ball carrying from Dion Woods. Here's a chance. Farmer was pushing and shoving Bowyer from behind. Teague keeps his eye on the ball. Livingston had it and lost it. Taken by Simmons. One behind. Played nearly 22 minutes into this second term. And the Dockers are 6-6-42. The Blues are 4-7-31. Livingston to Teague. From half-back. Kicks a high ball. Getting back was Hadrell. Kudafiti's made it a contest. Chance for Bentic again. Wobbles the ball in, looking for Favola. Second grab. He's got it. Now we'll see if the Robert Heatley stand starts the rock. Goes short. Unselfish play and bang. Shammer has given away 50. And the Blues will kick this goal and they'll be within 5 points.
And another one of your old teammates, Matthew, that's got possession of the football.
Barnaby
Been better
French
this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has been better. I think the responsibility being the #1 ruckman, and he's a great runner for a bloke his size, and he certainly ran Longmuir off his feet then, and he's normally a pretty reliable kick, but if he misses this, I'm in trouble.
Well, he'd have to be concussed to miss this, Matthew. He'll have to go back to rowing. Blues within 5 points, and the Robert Heatley stand is rocking. Barnaby French kicks his first goal, just his 5th for the season. And that man Shammer gave away the 50 metres.
And as you said, Matthew, it was a nice little piece of play, nice running by Barnaby French, and the 50-metre was obviously definitely there. Brendan Favola's been a really selfless game today, just set up other players rather than kicking the goals himself.
Barnaby French kicks the goal and runs straight back to the middle, and that tells the story, as Tiff mentioned. Brad Fisher's gone for the day. He's on crutches and well, he really couldn't get into the game.
It's good to have Tiff down there because she's a physiotherapist, so she can see what sort of testing they're doing to the knee, and therefore we can get the diagnosis.
Tiff?
Yeah, well, they're actually saying it may be even worse, a knee reconstruction. That's what they're fearing.
So perhaps an ACL for...
That's correct, an ACL plus cartilage.
Let's head back with Lappin now as Carlton are mounting something here. Teague, kick is a poor one. Favola couldn't get it. Ricochets back to McGrath, off one step. It's an open forward line. Johnson goes back. Stevens there, but so is Troy Cook. Heads towards the wing. Lappin with McManus. Morrell with Polak. This is Bell knocking it forward. Pavlich. The forward handball is a good one to McManus. Measures the kick, but Simmons right at his feet. Livingston, I presume, gets it. Kicks it inside 50. Big pack forms. Cooter couldn't mark. Digby Morrell wrapped up in a very good tackle. Ball up on the 50. The Blues coming at the Dockers. The Dockers have led since the start of the game, and it's a 5-point margin late in this second term.
They've done a pretty good job this quarter, Carlton, haven't they? It just looked at one stage that the Fremantle running machine was getting on top, that they've dragged that back in.
Koutafidis tried to drag the ball in and in turn drags Pavlich down. Johnson. Hands free. Going forward was Bannister. Favola couldn't take it. Bannister went again. And it's wrapped up. The intensity's picked up, hasn't it? The last couple of minutes, Matthew.
Yes, Carlton's intensity really has around the ball. You look at Hazelby and Bell, and those guys haven't got that much of the ball the last 10 minutes or so, and Carlton is certainly generating more from the stationaries.
Now that's where Brad Fisher's gone down and has hurt that right knee. As Cherry was telling us, maybe an ACL. They're very, very worried about it as he's left the arena on crutches. And we see Cook around the corner. Stevens applying the body pressure to Seagate. Has got the job picking up Stevens. He's had it 14 times. Only Cooter's had it more, 15. And there's Seagate and Stevens.
Just a note that Hazelby has gone quiet. I mean, he was, 9 possessions early, just the 11 now.
Yeah, it's now Clark that's got the job of running with Hazelby.
And Bannister now on Peter Bell. Chance for Johnson to Barnaby French. Back to Scotland. Caught in the tackle. Hazelby around the corner. Back to inside 50. Big pack of players. What a grab. Digby Morrell. Backing back. Now to McGrath, who's having an impact around the corner, looking for Wade, who plays in front. Got an ugly bounce again. Parker is very quick. Pulled off the ball by Wade. Crunch that time. Hit front on. Took that tackle standing up. Here's a chance for Parker. Wade is incensed. The young man in a hurry. Taken by McManus. Down he goes. Here's a chance for McGrath. The Blues applying the pressure. Not afraid of being physical. Carlton on the charge. Dennis Pagan will love this. McGrath rockets the ball to Bowyer. They trail by just 5 points. A minute and a half left in this second term. Going to ground is Grover. Still it's alive. Over the top. That might be a free kick. No free kick to the Blues. They play on. Quick snap. It was a good effort. That came from Bowyer and through for a behind. Heady stuff at Optus Oval.
It was a big couple of minutes, wasn't it? Just the way that both sides were just kept continuing to fight it. One of the most important things in football is to get back up off your feet once you're down.
Long ball out to centre wing. Free kick against Scotland. Crowd will tell you the story about their feelings. It's going to Paul Medhurst. He's just come back on the ground. He swapped with Jeff Farmer. And we're a minute out from half-time. The Dockers still hold a 4-point lead. Medhurst now has kicked one goal. Carlton have got a lot of numbers back. All they're looking to do here is get Medhurst to kick to a contest so that they can spoil and bring it to ground. Medhurst decides he doesn't want to do that, and with beautiful skill hits it to Hadrill. But Hadrill kicks it straight to where Carlton wanted it in the first place, and that's for David Teague.
He's a good player, Teague, isn't he?
He's a very good player. One of the most courageous in the game. Comes to the Glen Archer School of Football. This is Lappin. Back through the middle. Waite, who's worked very hard in this first half. A little bit slow here, though.
Good signs today for Jared Waite. I reckon this is his best game so far this year. He's looked dangerous.
Not a good kick. And Hadrill chips in to take the mark. The Dockers have still got time to score a goal before half-time if they move it quickly. Parker goes sideways. The runner in the way, but Seagate gets it. Medhurst, low ball, need a mark. Got it. Longmuir, paid. Siren sounds. Carlton players argue. Wasted time. Justin Longmuir will take a shot on goal after the siren. They led by 7 points at quarter time. At the moment they lead by 4. As Longmuir lines up for his first of the afternoon.
And here's a good kick.
No,
Here's a good kick.
You've just mozzed him, haven't you?
Here's a good kick, Matty, isn't he?
Well, we don't need this to go through, do we, KB?
There wasn't a mark, was it, Terry?
Not a mark, but it doesn't matter now.
Doesn't matter now. He's on 50. Not a bad shot at goal. It's on the wrong side of the post, though. It's a behind. So a tough quarter of footy. And the Dockers, as I said, they led by 7 points at quarter time. Carlton have inched it back to 5. And they really did apply the pressure in the second part of that second quarter. At quarter time here at Optus Oval in the Heritage Round, it's the Dockers by 5 points at half-time. And we're underway. It's the Heritage Round, and the Dockers in red and white. Back in action against the Blues. Plenty of players around the ball. It spills out the back. And a secondary bounce. We've seen a couple of those this afternoon.
Yeah, they have a lot of numbers around there. You saw at centre half forward there, Carlton had 5 or 6 players. As soon as the bounce down, 4 of them go up, and it's just left with Favola and DeLuca in forward.
Bounce down. Look at the number of players around the ball. It's like an Oz kick game. McManus. Hadrill. That's a clever handball out wide. Grover. They share it. It ends up with Hazelby. Got it from Walker. Farmer, good leap at the ball, but the spoil came from Bowyer. Now there's a whistle on the play. It's coming back to Carlton, to Morrell, and ends up back in the hands of Lappin, so no change. Lappin clears it from his defensive 50. Wants Koutafidis or French. Longmuir beat both of them, takes the mark. Out to the run of Pavlich. He's on centre wing. Carlton have got lots of numbers back. There's the lead. It comes from Simmons. Down low. He's got to give it to Walker. Walker keeps it in play. Back, though, Carlton have McGrath and Lappin who share it. Wobbles the kick forward. It's a poor one. Pavlich has got it. He goes back through the middle. Goes backwards, and that's not a good kick. This could open up for Carlton here. But well done by Seagate. Attacked the footy, and it found Cook. Inside 50. Hooked it round. He wanted Hazelby. Stevens under pressure. Thornton kicks it high. Cook goes back. Scotland over the top. Not 15. Play on. Cook busts his way through. Did well. Back to Medhurst. Medhurst through the middle of the ground. Walker can keep going. Can have a shot or set it to the goal square. Wants Simmons long. Free kick on the play. Carlton free.
Livingston has got the big job playing on Simmons. Chance for Thornton. Time to recover, goes wide. The Blues now with a loose player. Clark is across half back. He's a speedster. Loves to run with the ball. To centre half forward, DeLuca. Playing in front, hits the ground running. Goes wide, he's looking for Waite, running back with a flight. Out-muscled that time by Grover. Read it well. Blues haven't been in front in this game. The Dockers 43-38. They lead by 5 points to Peter Bell. He's kicked 2 goals. Stands and delivers. It's a good kick wide. And Seagate didn't have to break stride. He's on the edge of the centre square. Carlton players starting to push back. Simmons is going to be a target in front. Too big, too strong. Out in front.
Well, he looks more dangerous, Simmons, coming from deeper down in the goals. I thought in the first half he did a good job playing high up at centre half forward, but now puts every mark that he actually takes into a dangerous position.
He's kicked 2 behinds in his 100th game. He's kicked 30 goals for the season. He'll be shooting from right on 50. And plenty of blue and white flags behind and streamers behind the goals are trying to put him off. Not very friendly in the Robert Heatley stand. Not the visitors. Simmons stands right on 50. Through for a behind. One straight kick the difference. 3 behinds of Troy Simmons today. And Lappin to bring the ball back into play. Heritage weekend, both clubs playing in their Heritage Guernseys. Lappin, clever play, goes wide looking for Barnaby French. Really took a one-hander, taken away by Walker. Conceded ground, back to Clark, side steps. Hammers the ball back towards half forward. That was good, strong play. Took a lot of courage to run with the flight of the ball. They certainly would like that. That's Shane Parker. That's what you'd expect. Des Headland goes wide. Grover. A big switcher play. Finds McManus. Spears the ball in. Beautiful kick. And finds Medhurst. He's on 50. He might fancy his chances. He's pushed it wide. It's starting to drift back, but not enough. And through for a minor score. 7 points, the Dockers lead, the Mighty Blues.
And they're doing all the attacking, but not getting the reward. Still haven't kicked a goal. They kicked that first goal in both the first 2 terms.
They're pressing, but they've got to make the most of their opportunities. Away from home, when you get those chances, you've got to break a side at some stage.
Thornton gives it a roost to just Longmuir, who's 15 metres on his own. Not a blue in sight. As Longmuir gives it to Seagate. Now, again, some loose checking, but a poor kick from Seagate. And Thornton cutting it off, and maybe he can make some amends here. Thornton switches play, heads to the outer side here at Optus. Walker breaks to his defensive 50. That's a beautiful kick. Superb weight to find Bowyer on the wing. He can go back through the middle to Clark. Decides not to. Heads towards DeLuca. Favola's too far out from goal. It's all the Dockers at the back. Sandilands mops up. Goes to Bell. Chipping it up the wing. Poor kick from the captain. You don't see that very often. An unforced error, perhaps at MSU, Kevin.
Yeah, some monumental stuff up. But they're rare from Peter Bell.
They certainly are. So, Camporelli. No, he's been told to give it back to Andrew Walker. Here's the kick from Bell, just sliding off the side of the boot. Off one step again. McManus with the crumb to Cook. Dockers with the numbers. Now Headland with some space. Off he goes. Looping handball. Hazelby. McManus. Pavlich. The Stars combine. Pavlich short pass. But Teague with it well. Gets in the way and gives it off to Nick Stevens.
Teague is an absolute star across halfback. So brave. Just puts himself in the firing line. Here's McGrath around the corner. Clever kick. Finds Lappin. Danger man for the Blues. Beautiful kick. Finds Barnaby French. Eager to get back from that man on the mark. Favola wants it short. He's got DeLuca in the square. Here comes DeLuca. Hit the pack hard. They need a crummer. And waiting down is Grover. Picked up some handy possessions in this third term. Goes wide. Finds McManus. Time for think music. Dances on a dollar and goes short. And finds Pavlich to Headland. Edge of the centre square. This is a great kick. Here's the Wizard. Now, he was holding himself before. Looked like he'd hurt his left side before. The trainer was out to the Wizard. But he's still on the ground. He was looking back to the bench at one stage there, and that took some courage because he is sore on the left-hand side.
Pavlich just had a fantastic 5 minutes here on Curter. He's played up the ground on him. He's probably had 5 or 6 touches already and set up a couple of shots on goal. So it's going to be an area there Curter might have to tighten up a little bit.
I know Jeff Farmer plays on a lot of emotion, but I just don't like to see when he shoves the ball in a bloke's face like that.
He's just had the 2 possessions so far. He has booted 28 goals for the season. And the Wizard does like to celebrate if he can kick a goal. He stands on 50, goes for the big talk. What a kick! Take a bow, Jeff Farmer. The Wizard kicks a goal. And also has a little bit of a chat as well.
Well, at least he walks the walk after he talks the talk, and I mean that's what it's all about. Look, I still don't like it. I don't like that. Just the ability to shove the ball in his face. He took a fantastic mark, did his job. Magnificent kick. I mean, we're just having a look at the mark again on replay now. Just a great mark. The kick was wonderful, and the only thing I just think if he can take that out of his game, he's got the package otherwise.
The Wizards still celebrating, still talking. The Dockers once again get the first goal of the term. And they do get some breathing space. They're out to a 13-point lead. They're doing all the attacking. 13 minutes remaining in the term. Sandilands couldn't quite get it clear. Bannister backs himself in to run against the play. Then turns onto his left looking. Oh, that's a great mark to Hadrill. It's been good, Hadrill. Strong mark against Favola. And Headland. Grover peels off for him. Headland spots him. The kick doesn't reach the target, so Grover, oh, well done. He was under pressure, knew it was coming. Parker running hard. Forward. Teagan Medhurst. McGrath helping out. Shammer comes in. Umpire will ball it up. Medhurst. He is livid, saying he was held. How have you read that duel between Teague and Medhurst?
Well, I think Teague's quite comfortably had the role at the moment, but Medhurst's job, he's kicked one. The Medhurst's job is just, if he can finish with 3 at the end of the day, he's done his job.
As you saw, Carlton have been clearing it from the centre quite easily. The Fremantle have got all the run now, and here they go again. Seagate with a searching handball going forward. Clark knocked it to Lappin. Lappin gave it over Camporelli. The Blues are away.
Kicks down towards centre half forward. He's looking for Vavola. He's had his hands full today against Hadrill. Desperate play by Vavola to Walker. The young gun goes short. DeLuca pushed off the contest by Grover, who's having a big third term as well across half back. Rockets the ball to Cook. They'll share the ball around. They come forward. Here's a chance. McManus onto the left boot. Goes wide. There's a big pack of players. Simmons! That's a gem. Very direct. And here's the focal point up forward.
Well, all the rebound at the moment's coming from the half-back line. The paddock that Carlton's got in place. Carlton at the moment can't get the ball over the top of centre half forward. They can't get it deep enough, and it's rebounding from the defenders across half-back, and then it's opening up for the midfield run of the Fremantle side, and they're really setting up their game from there.
Hasn't had his kicking boot on today. He's got 3 behinds next to his name. They lead by 13 points. This to extend it to 19. Simmons, there's a great shot from the Fox Footy cameras. Holds its line and kicks a goal.
Well, he's just going to be too big down there. I think he's on Livingston there. And Troy Simmons is a ruckman's height, and he's got a strength there, and obviously can jump at the ball. He's just going to have too much height down there. So if they can get it down there as often as they have in this first 15 minutes, he could have a good day out, especially if he keeps kicking straight.
I just wonder whether Thornton as their best defender is not the role for Simmons now. I know he'll be giving away size as well, but he's the key player to do that job.
So Simmons straightens it up at last to kick his first goal. 1-3 for him. And the Dockers out to a 19-point lead, the largest of the afternoon. And their third quarter dominance has been very evident. Low-scoring game, 19 points. Very handy lead, and they're away. They get a centre clearance. Haven't had one for a while. It was Hazelby who got it forward. Lappin on the rebound for Carlton. Needs to hit the target. Waite provides the option for him. A little bit of acrobatic work there. Waite quickly moves it on. He's got Bannister, who wants Favola. Knocked off it by Hadrill. Didn't matter. Koutoufidis second in line. So Koutafidis, who had 15 disposals, so it's his first touch for the quarter. And as you mentioned, Matthew, Pavlich has been very handy.
Well, he has. He's now Curtis put himself out of the goal square now. Pavlich has moved up the ground, so he's just trying to take Pavlich back there, but he keeps positioning himself at centre half back, and Curtis got a shot on goal here on Hadrell.
So Koutafidis needs to kick this for the Blues. He's got it. It's through. An answering goal from the skipper. Carlton back to within 13 points. And I guess, Terry, was a bit of a mirror image of what was seen. It started from the half-back line for the Blues that time.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's a fair bit of chess going on between the two coaches at the moment with that Pavlich-Koutafidis role. And both are handling themselves well. I thought that Pavlich not going back and creating from half-back was the right idea, but it was also a great idea to put Koutafidis to full forward, get him on the inexperienced Thornton, and created a goal.
There's Koutafidis. Parker now. Stands Koutafidis. 16 possessions, 9 ticks into the mark.
Parker switched.
And that's the right match as well. I think Parker's the right match. So both coaches doing their jobs well.
Chris Connolly looks on. The Dockers against the Blues as Stevens charges out of that centre square. Here comes Cooter again. Thornton paddles the ball long in front. It was a good tackle by DeLuca. Releases the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in.
The game's going in the same momentum it has all the game. The first 10-15, Fremantle have been on top, and then Carlton come back at them, and it's happening again in this third quarter.
Just under 10 minutes left in this third term. 57 plays 44. Chance for the Blues. Koutafidis doing the ruck work. Sandlands, the juggler, to Walker. Bundled off the ball that time by McGrath. Hazelby had it and lost it. Camporelli, the general, the playmaker. Wait! Beaten this time. And Pavlich, who's been very good in this third term, gives the ball across. And Thornton hammers the ball wide. Finds Cook. He's across half back. They've set up the loose player. Here's Seagate. Screaming for the ball is Medhurst. Make that Simmons. He's come all the way down from full forward. The Wizard leads hard. He wants it in the pocket. So does Headland. Medhurst back. Teague there. Guarding closely. Now on Headland. Some close checking. Simmons fancies his chances. It'll take a big kick. But his stocks are high. He's just come off kicking a goal. Simmons stands on 55. Can't bend it back. Drew for a minor score.
Well, true to the lineage, KB, if he's related to you, just had a shot at goal. Just refused to pass it off.
He's looked dangerous.
Yep.
Lappin goes wide. It was a dangerous kick here. He was looking for Livingston. It was thumped back over the line. It was good defensive play by Grover.
So one area of the game that Carlton have got to pick up in. I think they've given the ball back about 4 or 5 times when they've had it in their defensive end. That time on a kick out. But in general play in the back line, they've actually given the ball back to Fremantle too many times.
Sandland's in the ruck work against Barnaby French. Hazelby, clever play, back to Walker. Pulled off the ball. Chance for Bell. I think Carlton supporters might have thought it was a throw. Here's a chance for Clark. Just bursts the pack. Kicks the ball back inside the centre square. It's a poor kick. And Thornton read it very, very well. Very impressive player. He's had it 10 times. He's taken 5 marks. Longmuir playing in front of Digby Morrell. Will shoot from 40 metres out directly in front.
Well, just that extra bit of height advantage again on this one. Just outreached Digby Morrell on that. And there's not much Digby could do. He did everything right, was right with his direct opponent, but just outsized.
Well, we've wrapped up his kicking today. He hasn't really had his kicking boot on. He's kicked 1-1. Longmuir leans back, unloads, gives it both barrels, and kicks a goal.
Just think they look a better side when they've got the three options down, the three tall options down in their forward line. When Sandilands can do the work for them in the ruck, and you've got players such as Longmuir and Polak and Simmons down in that area, just makes them a very dangerous lineup.
And Sandilands is just great to have in the ruck because he's just so tall. He just gives him a great advantage. Even if you do have him out of position, he can just somehow get his long reach to it.
Longmuir joins Peter Bell with 2 goals, and the tall forwards of the Dockers, the real challenge for Carlton at the moment. Taking marks inside 50, getting shots on goal. 20 points the margin for the Dockers. Smith missed the target. Cook always head over the ball. Hazelby to Woods, slipped through traffic but gave it away to Johnson, who clears it looking for Favola. Hadrill again with a good spoil, got the left arm to it, not easy to do. Pavlich and Parker sort it out, take it over the line.
Haven't really had that small forward today, Carlton, have they? The number of times the ball comes off the hands of their key forwards and there's just no one there, you know, like a Matthew Lappin at his absolute best and his goal sneaking best, but they've just lacked it today.
Down to 2 on the interchange bench. There's Andrew Walker looking on. Sandilands, won by Parker. Just bangs it forward with the hands. Bell, saw a heap of Carlton players running into trouble. Look at the Dockers share it and clear it through Cook. Wants McManus. He has his head ripped off. The umpire paid holding. Doesn't really matter. McManus is going to get the free kick. Against Lappin.
I just think Carlton might be running out of options. DeLuca took a really strong knock on his shoulder. They've got Johnson, who seems to be just struggling with a little bit of an ankle. Just start to wonder whether it might be just catching up with them.
Good play by Lappin.
No, he did well. He wasted about 15 seconds.
Slowed it all down.
Yeah. He said to the umpire, "Yep, I'm right. I'll come up to the mark." Yep. Right, now whose kick is it? McManus. Walker. $80 metres out from Fremantle's goal. Longmuir presents. Simmons wants it long. Medhurst wants it short. Carlton fans want him to just kick it, and he does. Big pack forming. Big fly. The big spoil came. Seagate or McManus. Second in line. Steps inside 50. Hooks the kick. Won't make the distance. Teague, I should say. Teague. What's going on? Stevens. Into some space, can keep going. Runs all the way to the wing. Now looks up. Measures his kick. Not a good one, but there's a free downfield. Carlton will have possession. An error from the Dockers. DeLuca. 55 out from goal. It's an open goal square. Wait to the top of the square. Lappin there as well. Lappin's got it.
Oh, he just drifted down beautifully there, and as KB said before, when he does go forward, he reads the play so well. Just read that kick. A few of the Fremantle players collided with each other, and he just took a great grab.
That was Smith on Stevens that gave the free downfield. Not a lot in it, but was there any need for it, Terry?
No, there wasn't probably. So I think the umpire was well within his rights to play it. And DeLuca's kick was a nice kick. Don't put it just to the top of the square. Put it 20 yards or 25 metres out in front. It allows players to be able to run onto the ball far better.
He's had a fabulous season, Matthew Lappin. He's lining up for goal number 20. It bends a little bit, but it's true. Carlton get number 7, margin back to 14 points. A very important last 5 minutes of this third term.
Well, I just think that for Carlton, they can't afford to have Fremantle kick another goal. They've got to be within touch at three-quarter time. They have got a few sore bodies out there. They've lost a couple of players. So they just need to have their mindset thinking that they can actually get up and win the game. Been a great player, Matty Lappin. 20 goals from a half-back flanker for most of the year. Snuck up forward a few times, but he's had a tremendous year.
"16 possessions, 4 marks to Matty Lappin. That's his first goal of the afternoon. He drags the scoreline back to 14 points. 64 plays 50, 9-10 to 7-8. So the Dockers have been well on top in this third term. The Blues just mounting a challenge. McGrath thrown on the ground by Cook was a strong tackle. Bentic at the bottom of the pack trying to rip the ball out of the arms of Bell. And we've got a ball up. Still inside the centre square. Here's McGrath and Grover. Had eyes for each other. And we can see McGrath coming off the worst.
Matthew, they just took Barnaby French off. And that sort of puts a lot of responsibility on DeLuca.
It does. I also think they probably do need a crummer up forward, and Walker's gone forward, so he's going to be trying to be that crumbing player. But DeLuca did look like he was a bit sore before, as Terry said, so this will test him out here.
Let's find out from Tiff. Some problems with DeLuca?
Yeah, well, the doctor just ran out and gave him a couple of painkillers, but he is hesitant to use that left arm. It's his shoulder, so just keep your eye on him. Also, Dion Woods has come off with that hamstring, and Troy Cook off with a blood rule.
Thanks, Tiff. They definitely need a crummer on the forward line. Here's Stevens. He might set it up. He was looking for Favola. Back to Stevens, who ran hard. Beautiful kick. Walker needed a kind bounce. Couldn't get it. Fresh to the ground was Waite. Was a quick release. Here's Bentic with a 360 to Koutafidis. The champ Kuta has got two, and all of a sudden it's back. The Carlton way, they're just gradually edging closer to the Dockers. And Kuta with 2 goals, and good effort by young Bentic, and hard running from Nick Stevens.
It's just great to see a young kid like Bentic. He's looked right at home at the pace of the game. Hasn't had an enormous amount of the ball, but all you want to sort of see him is competing, and to see the old and the young is great for the Carlton people.
Well, the Carlton crowd, haven't they come alive? And there's a free kick in the centre. Straight away on return.
This is exactly what they needed.
They needed the crowd to get involved. They're surging. And as Matthew Primus mentioned, each quarter's been the same. It's been Fremantle first and then Carlton next. Margin back to 8 points. Still 4 minutes remaining. And DeLuca finally got it. I don't know what's going on there, but he bangs it forward inside 50. Favola crunch. Yeah, free kick. Didn't even go for the ball.
No, it was silly play by Favola, and I saw before we went for the ball too. He, instead of just concentrating what happened afterwards, he was nearly going crook at his teammates. He's got to make certain that he's in the game for the entire duration of the game, because the Blues need him.
Hadrill, short, not 15. Pavlich, back to Robert Hadrill. Measures the kick, it's a good one. Brown in front of Teague. Oh, Simmons just got free easily. Now he's getting a few boos, and that was for an indiscretion, and just as after Koutafidis kicked that goal. So here we see Farmer, Livingston, Bowyer, and that was the free kick. So that was why DeLuca got the ball after the goal had been scored. Well, so hence the boos.
He's got a chance to pay it back straight away to his teammates here. He's been a very dominant player. I don't know whether the Luke Livingston matchup is working at this point in time.
He's kicked 1 goal for. He will kick from 45 metres. Again, he's the wrong side of the post. 1-5 for Troy Simmons in his 100th game.
Just hasn't quite had his kicking boot on today. He could have been just that damaging forward they want up forward, but it just keeps the door open. 65 plays 56. It's the Dockers by 9 points. The Blues continue to come forward. They need a lift from that man on screen, Brendan Favola, who has really struggled today. Not really playing from the goal square, Terry, and therefore he's just looked out of sorts.
Yeah, he has. I don't know if the role suited him, but does it need to suit him or does it need to suit Carlton? And I think this is the one thing Dennis Pagan structured up a plan today that's got them in the game.
3 marks, 9 possessions, just the 2 behinds to Favola. He's kicked 57 goals for the season. The Dockers answering the challenge. Longmuir. Snaffled that time by Hazelby. Spears the ball in. Simmons may have been held by Livingston. Good enough to get the ball away to the Wizard. Was that a throw? It was. Thought Simmons may have been held off the ball as the ball was coming in. Camporelli goes wide, finds Teague. Just under 2 minutes left in this third term. The Blues are surging. And the Blues faithful have come alive at Optus Oval. Thornton's a very good player. Did well against Lappin. Got a fist to the ball. Chance for Bell. Waited. Read it well to McManus. The run comes Headland. The ball carrier runs to 50. Kicks right to the goal square, and the big fist away. Good defensive play. And through for a behind. That came from young Andrew Walker. Blues have set up the loose player. Finds Bowyer. Still across half back, and the Carlton crowd really getting involved. 7 wins for the season. They're 11th on the table. The Dockers at 10 and 7, 6th. Here's a chance. To the half-forward line. Favola didn't bend down, but Hadrill did. Rockets the ball to Parker. Back to Shammer. All of a sudden, the Dockers are on the surge. This is a wonderful kick. Finds Seagate. It open up. Here's the Wizard. Maybe a bit of magic. He was ready to go.
Gee, we've had a couple of undisciplined acts from Brendan Favola. Just his lack of ability to put his body over the ball then and keep the ball in front of him. The crashing into Longmire earlier on in the quarter. He's just got to give them something.
Oh, he does, and just his body language, and it looks like he's getting taken off the ground now for exactly that.
Well, Jeff Farmer kicked a fantastic torpedo goal in the early part of this quarter, and this time he's pushed it way right. And really gets the jeers from the Carlton fans as Favola takes a rest. Pete Scotland comes back onto the field.
Well, you can run a little bit to the right, but you can't run directly to the right. That's where he ran, and so he kicked it there. You can have a little bit of a hook on it for your natural right foot kick. But he kicked it exactly where he ran. Siren sounds for three-quarter time. The Dockers have won the quarter. They've kicked 3 goals, 5. Carlton 3 straight. But Carlton are hanging in. They're within range. They're down by 10 points, and Brendan Favola is not enjoying his afternoon, but his team, with only 20 fit players, is within range. A big last quarter coming up in the Heritage Round from Optus Oval. The Dockers by 10. Well, the Dockers win third terms. Carlton's best term for the year has been the final term. They've won 10 final quarters. 10 out of 17 is a pretty good result for a side that's only won 7 games.
It's all set.
They've had some big wins at Adelaide. They came back and beat Collingwood. They have finished off. Will they do it again? Let's find out. We're underway. Barnaby French just punching it forward. Walker missed the target, but he's got a couple of friends. Clark kicking forward. Waite with Hadrill. Hadrill doesn't make too many mistakes. And he just forced Jared Waite over the boundary line for a ball in.
Joe, I like the start of that with Barnaby French jumping up and thumping the ball forward. It's always a good start, I reckon, Matty.
Always sets a tone, doesn't it, straight away?
Yeah, it's always a sign of strength, and it means you've jumped over the top of your opponent.
Boundary throw in, and Longmuir knocked it down. He was looking for Polak. Dives back over it. Koutafidis is dangerous in these situations. Gets boot to ball. Play on. It's not 15. Hazelby grabbed by McGrath. Hadrill just went off the ground, and it's going to come off for the Dockers. Thornton away and running. Breaks from his defensive 50. Heads forward looking for Simmons. The kick just missed the mark. Livingston paddles it back to some teammates. On hands and knees. Lappin got it over to Bowyer. Now he wants McGrath. He'll get the 1-2. Or will he? No. Walker sees Koutafidis from the back. Kuta can't jump like he used to. Hadrill. Koutafidis goes back. Taps it towards Camporelli. Keeps it going forward. He wants Waite. Waite will have the boundary line. The crowd will tell you what they want. They want a free kick, but Peter Bell has cleared it. They're not out of danger yet, though, the Dockers. Scotland, beautiful tackle by Cook. One of the best tacklers in the game. And away go the Dockers once again.
They won a tough ball, the Dockers. That'll bring a smile to Chris Connolly and the Wizard. Trying to get around Bowyer. Stands and delivers, just pops it up high. And it's been taken by Brown. Too far out to score. They've got Big Sandlands in the square. He's a monster. He's a giant standing next to Digby Morrell. Indicating he wanted it high. Pavlich chips in short.
Well, there was just 2 fantastic defensive efforts there. One was Hadrill backing back on Koutafidis, and then Cook's effort to tackle. That sets up forward play, and the ball went from one end of the ground down to the other. Some smart work by Farmer to set up an opportunity for goal at the other end. Great play by Fremantle.
21 possessions to Pavlich. He's taken 6 marks. Yet to register a score. The All-Australian twice. Pavlich to kick-start the Dockers again in this final term at Optus Oval. Kicks from 55. Right to the line. A kick of a champion.
Well, they've just played with more resolve in the last 3 or 4 weeks, so they were questioned going back sort of 7 or 8 weeks ago with a couple of their games, but I think just over the last 3 weeks this side's really come of age again, just stepped up a little bit. They want another finals campaign and they're earning it.
You always want your best players to stand up, don't you? They need that first goal was crucial. Pavlich gets it and nails it 50 out, so just a great leadership.
What a sensational finish by Matthew Pavlich. 55 out, always knew he was going to kick it.
And it's another good move by Chris Connolly. I mean, he's played Pavlich midfield, he's played him back on Koutafidis. When the game needs to be won, he's standing a centre-half forward.
They've got a tall forward line now, haven't they? They've got Pavlich, Sandilands and Simmons stretching the Carlton defence. Here's Seagate stretching to get the footy. Kick is a poor one, but a good clearance for the Dockers, and they have it deep in their forward line.
And that's where they're such a nice tall side, Matthew. When you've got the ability, Pavlich has pushed forward, but that's allowed Polak still to go back. So they've got some really good tall players.
Pretty quiet day today for Shammer, just the 8 disposals. Likewise, Medhurst there on the bench, so there's still some legs there to be used if they need it, compared to Carlton. Brown couldn't get it. Here's Pavlich to the hot spot. Oh, Sandilands! And just what we spoke about.
Physical size, standing size, Digby Morrell.
Oh, you said they've gone tall down there, and obviously Livingston was struggling on Simmons. Now they've put Sandilands down there and also Pavlich, so it's really going to stretch the Carlton defence now.
Digby Morrell went down at the start of the quarter and sort of looked around and sort of see who's going to take this big fella, and just sort of sidled up alongside of him, and that's a mammoth job.
Where's Justin Madden when you need him?
He's in Parliament. Sandilands make it very hard for the Blues. He kicks it. 2 quick goals for the Dockers in the final term. The contract now is 22 points, but as we've seen, Carlton will come again.
Well, it's just been exactly the same way again, Matthew. It's just the ability of Fremantle to get out of the blocks and set things up straight away, and then Carlton have to try to play catch-up footy.
Oh, it has been the same. I think the difference here at the moment is Fremantle kicking straight. They've kicked their goals instead of kicking points. They've kicked the goals, and you know, this lead now, another one to Fremantle, will certainly make it pretty difficult for Carlton.
We're elongated the screen so we can actually get Sandilands into that shot.
He didn't actually get his feet off the ground, and why would you need to?
There's Favola back on the ground. Well, he's only 21 years of age, Sandilands, and Matty, I dare say that's the sort of thing he can do. We saw Paul Salmon, you know, when he was 6'7" down forward, taking strong marks because he's got such agility that he can be a danger kicking goals for the Dockers. Koutafidis, can he inspire the Blues? Scotland kicks a high ball inside 50, and there's Parker reading it well. What a player he's been for the Dockers, Shane Parker. Plays on talls, plays on smalls. Seagate.
It's your key players that'll get all the accolades, but players like Parker and Hadrill have really stood up again today.
I think Hadrill's been really good. Seagate kicks to a big pack. Longmuir hit the pack hard. Headland working hard at the foot of the pack, kicks the ball down. Here's a chance out in front. And again, Simmons. When he leads out in front, he's got those really good, strong hands. Elevates himself. Kicks the ball back. Headland running with the fly of the ball. Couldn't take it. Here's the Wizard from 13 metres out. Kicks a goal. Two goals to Jeff Farmer. And he goes into the tailspin.
Well, he's been busy. I think he's done his job today. He's an angry ant, isn't he? But look, just a very, very dangerous player still to have in your forward structure. I mean, when you've got a player like Medhurst that's down there, and then Farmer, who do you put the better small defender on? It makes it very, very difficult, and he's always a dangerous player and a match winner.
Jeffrey Farmer just endearing himself to the Blues crowd, just saying, how good was that? Did you enjoy that?
That's the latest thing you do, the aeroplane tailspin, isn't you?
You fly.
You fly. You put the arms
fly
out and you just sort of glide.
He's a flying wizard. But more importantly, Docker fans watching, very pleased with what they've seen in the start of this fourth term. 3 goals, 3 quick goals. Here's Thornton, just chipping it back round the corner. That's a terrible bounce for Walker. Koutafidis picks it up, one grab, over to Clark. Wait, not sure where he was going with that. Bell. The Dockers now sharing it. It ends up with Seagate, and they just head along to the goal square. Sandilands, almost. Ball at ground level. Thornton did well, gets it to Teague, and here go Carlton on the rebound. 3 downfield, who cares, they say. There's 2 or 3 Carlton players. Stevens now. Misses the target, and there was 3 Dockers players there, and they've given it up. Seagate kicking long. Sandilands. Morell's going to arrive too late. Handball back. Well, wanted to give it to Pavlich. It ends up going past him. Cook's got a new number on. He's 46. This is Headland. If he finishes this, oh, it's raining goals for the Dockers. Four very quick goals. Now, Nick Stevens is coming off. You wouldn't think it's because of that kick, would you?
No, you wouldn't think so. I was just trying to say, Carlton do look out on their feet, and obviously Nick Stevens pretty tired. He's run hard all day. You know, Camperelli's got the hands on the hip out there, and Fremantle just look like they're going to run right over the top of him here.
As soon as Troy Cook got that ball into open space to Des Headland, and you knew Des Headland was going to be able to run it to around the 50-metre mark, you knew it was going to be a goal. His skills are fantastic, and just a great finisher for the club.
Des Headland has kicked a very, very good goal, and all of a sudden they've blown this game apart. Here's Nick Stevens on the blow-up.
He's still on Carlton, KB.
That's it. Who are you going for now?
Sorry, you just started breaking up the headset there. I just couldn't quite hear what you're saying, Matty Primus. Here's a chance. Here's Longmuir just leaping over the top of Barnaby French. Let's go down to Tiffany Cherry.
Adrian DeLuca not willing to use that left arm of his. Doctor just ran out again, but he is staying out there.
Thanks, Tiff. Well, the Dockers led by 7 points at quarter time, 5 points at half time, and 10 points at three-quarter time. They now lead by 34 points. McManus just found space. Spears the ball in. The Wizard again. Looking dangerous. He's kicked a couple of goals. He's got very excited. Taken away by Teague. Through half back, goes wide. Barnaby French is going to be the target. Had him in his sights. Couldn't hang on to the Sherrin. Chance for Scotland. To Johnson, who's come off the bench. Wobbles the kick forward. It was a poor kick. The bowler was heading backwards. Thought it might have had a bit more trajectory on the ball, but it didn't. Here's Hadrill. He's an underrated player. He just goes about his job and does it well. Finds Pavlich. Kicked that great goal in this last quarter. Just absolutely kickstart the Dockers. And here's a young man in a hurry. He can really play. Thornton to Bell. They shared around to Cook. Farmer sees the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Well, Troy Longmuir is just all he's done, I should say Justin Longmuir, all he's done in the last part of the game is just put himself across the back part of the ground and taken a couple of marks, and they haven't really looked likely to be able to get through defensively down that end.
It's a boundary throw-in on 50. Barnaby French will be pushing and shoving with Sandlands. Morell came over the top, taken by Cook to Bell. The general, the playmaker, will set it up to Hazelby and finds Thornton. Too far out to score. Hasn't kicked a goal in AFL football unless he's got a big torpedo in his armoury. Goes wide. It's a poor kick. Taken by Teague.
A couple of blues there, and the umpire just getting in the way of Bowyer and just sort of walked around him. Teague is switching play to Morell. French has to run. Morell decides that Stevens is a better option, but that brought Seagate into play. French was looking for Stevens, so the two Port Adelaide players, or ex-Port Adelaide players, combined. McGrath, he's caught. Back to Stevens, who just got off the ground and said, I'll take another one if you like. It's like at an auction. Lappin sliding in. Now,
it was a good decision.
Umpire Brett Allen signalled yes, it's a mark. The boundary umpire said, I don't think he completed the mark before rolling over the line. The conference, take a look.
Oh, no, it's a good mark.
Took it. Mark.
It took it. It was a good call.
Good decision as Lappin bangs it forward. DeLuca, now he cannot put his left arm up in the air.
And again, Longmuir just sitting back. All he's doing is sitting back in that defensive area in the back line. They just can't get through.
Well, Adrian DeLuca is almost a liability at the moment. I know they're down on numbers with Fisher being off and Houlihan, but perhaps they've got to get him to the goal square. Speaking of goal squares, it's all down this end at the moment. But that kick from Brown goes out of bounds on the full, and Morrell will kick it in.
Oh, it looks like DeLuca's coming off now, and as you say, it's just useless having him centre forward there with one hand. He just couldn't do anything for them. So he's off, and that'll be the end of him for the day, you think.
Morrell goes wide. He's looking for Barnaby French. He's in space. So the Blues are being blown away in this last quarter. They've been very brave in the first three. Always been a couple of goals off the pace, but now it seems like they're about 6 goals off the pace. It's 34 points, but the difference now has really blown out just in the way they're playing. Not so much the scoreboard, just in the body language. Thornton.
I think Matthew was also right. Probably Fremantle's had their chances to be further in front early in the game, but kick points as soon as they started to kick straight and put pressure on the Blues.
And here's a young man in a hurry. Seagate. McGrath getting across, does well. Marks in front of Smith. McGrath from that last line of defence. Stevens is the target. He had 3 to beat. That was tough. And Peter Bell will chip it short. And Dylan Smith, who's playing his first game for the Dockers, starting his career with the Kangaroos, has got a chance to kick his first goal of the season.
Hasn't had a lot of opportunity, Dylan Smith, but I think he's worked reasonably hard with the things that he has done. He's a player that really gets in and under the packs, chases hard, and he's worked reasonably hard.
Dylan Smith. Just his 12th game of AFL football. He's only ever kicked 1 goal in his career. Now he's got 2, and he's first for the Dockers.
Well, they've just been far too good in this last quarter. They've really just put on the pressure onto Carlton. I think this guy's done a lot of it, Longmuir. He's just really sort of set them up in this last quarter, just parading across the centre of the ground and half back. And once the balls hit the ground, they're just the run and the carry of the Fremantle side. It's been far too much for Carlton.
Late inclusion, Dylan Smith coming in for Roger Hayden, celebrating with his first goal for the Dockers. And the margin was 10 points at three-quarter time. It's now 40. 5 straight goals to the Dockers. Carlton haven't even looked like scoring. They're not done with yet. Shammer wasn't going anywhere with that tackle from Koutafidis, and Peter Bell having a spell. Carlton are really struggling with numbers at the moment.
It's a good win for Fremantle. You would expect their position on the ladder that they should win, but another away game that they've been able to pick up, that's exactly what they would need at the moment.
Well, they'll be playing finals football now. They probably knew that anyway, but it's one of those things coaches like to tick off right out where they're.
As I said, Matthew, I just think that their mental application over the last month has been the best that it's been at for the whole year.
Through the midfield, they've enjoyed plenty of possession. Tackled pretty hard as well. Not many Dockers fans here, but they're in full voice. And I guess the Melbourne Fremantle fans have had a great year. Time and time again, they couldn't get a win. They've had 5 wins away.
Well, it is a sign of the maturity of a club when you do start to win on the road. They won in Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, so it is a great sign and just keeps breeding confidence every time they do hop in that plane and come over here.
Ball up, still in the centre square. Dockers looking for 3 wins straight after good wins over Adelaide and Sydney, and they take on Collingwood on Friday Night Football next week back home. So they would be favourites there to make it 4 straight.
Well, their timing's perfect. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. We've seen Collingwood over the last couple of years who you've just got to be the best side in September when it comes around to that, and they're just coming right into their best form. Here's
Longmuir just punching it forward. McManus got rid of Bannister. He got a kind bounce too. Carlton players all went past it. He breaks free. He wants Medhurst. Teague right with him, but Medhurst read it the best. He's clear. He loves to kick a goal, and he just slides right and kicks it behind.
But it was good play then by Medhurst. He backed himself in to beat his opponent. In the end, it was just his execution that let him down.
I think David Teague's beaten him today, but the one thing that I've liked about Medhurst is he's stuck to his guns. He hasn't given up. You've seen no body language. He's just worked at his game, even though perhaps lowering his colours.
Well, the Blues haven't scored in this final term. They are struggling to get their hands on the ball. Shammer spent a lot of time on the bench. He's had a terrific season. Here's Pavlich pleading for the ball. Headlands is the target. Just couldn't quite take it on the stretch. Johnson intercepted. Here's Dylan Smith. He's missed. Through for a behind. Nearly his second goal for the Dockers. Floodgates would have opened. Very impressive last quarter. At the start of this last quarter, Matty, you gave some figures out on Carlton's last quarter
finished
efforts.
well, yeah, but the Dockers today.
Says something about the Dockers. It's Camporelli, goes for a trot, goes wide, finds Barnaby French to Scotland. They've really struggled to get past this half-back line this last quarter. Koutafidis tried to find Lappin. This half-back line's been very strong. And with Longmuir getting back there as well, it's been impenetrable. And here's Simmons taking a breather. It's 1 goal 5. It's on the half-forward flank for the Blues. Just trying to register a score in this last quarter. And it's a free kick, and it's going to Carlton and Bannister. Kane hasn't seen a lot of action, just 7 possessions. He goes wide looking for Vavola. 2 against 1, goes to ground. Hasn't really been in the contest today, Vavola. He's been out of sorts. Talking to by the coach at 3/4 time. Brown put his body on the line. Now charges towards the half-forward line. Fremantle players going in all directions. Take your pick. And it's bingo. Lucky number 34.
And he continues to work, just what we were sort of saying before. I just like the way he probably made about 3 leads then. He presented himself once, didn't worry that the ball didn't come back to him, cross-led back into the centre of the corridor. That's all you got to do. If you keep working like that, some days you'll kick 6, some days you'll kick your 2 or 3. Let's hope he finishes with a goal.
Well, he's kicked 1 goal, 2. He's kicked 37 goals for the season. Takes a deep breath. So Medhurst leans back. Here's a good kick, and that's a good goal.
Well, Terry, you mentioned a bit about Medhurst, early in the game. If he has a tough day, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, he could end up with 3 or 4 before we finish.
Oh, exactly. No, the Leafs have been in the game the whole day. As you said, too, they haven't kicked that many goals, him and Farmer, but they've been in the game. They've created a few. Instead of all of a sudden when you don't see them for the whole game and they go home and play well, the Leafs have contributed here, and I'm sure that's what the coach will be pretty happy about.
And that's the other thing you said, Matthew. The thing that they've done really well today is they've competed down that end. They've put a lot of tackle pressure on the opposition.
It's all Fremantle in this final term, and a few of the Carlton fans have decided that's enough.
Well, just before they go home, Terry Wallace might be able to tell him whether or not he's taking Hawthorn or Richmond, just for these fans walking out of the ground. Terry, quick word.
We did hear a helicopter come over the ground earlier. I think it was John Hook with a big bag of gold.
And there's an armour guard truck out the back too, wasn't there?
I know he's been looking up the scoreboard at the big game between Collingwood and Richmond too.
Well, listen to the roar from the crowd. Favola's got a mark on 50. And they love him here at Carlton. They want him to play well. They don't like to see him have an off day.
Well, you don't blame them. They love him and they want to see him play well, because every time he plays well, they seem to win. So that's what it's all about. Look, structurally, it hasn't really suited him today. They were in the game early, but this is what he does his best.
Just the two behinds. The distance shouldn't worry him. He's a thumping kick from just outside 50. It's straight. It's true. He gets a goal. He gets his first for the afternoon. Carlton get their first for the quarter, but the result is beyond worrying about for them. The Dockers still lead by 42.
Well, just as we see Matty Lappin, a lovely kick, just well weighted, give him every opportunity, and really that's where Brendan Favola plays his best football, when he's coming out from full forward. He can lead out as long as 50 plus metres from goal because he's just a thumping kick.
$58 goals for the season to Favola. 9-8-62 the Blues. 15-14, 104 the Dockers. They lead by 42 points after leading by 10 points at three-quarter time. Just over 4 minutes left in this final quarter. Simmons. A quick spell on the bench. He's got 1-5 at full forward, playing in game number 100 today. So it's one to celebrate. The Dockers' 11th win for the season, and Carlton will remain on 7 wins. But a disappointing last quarter. They were in the game to three-quarter time, but they've been blown away. Scotland brought down in the tackle. McManus caught high, taken away by Bentic. Chance for Barnaby Friends. Can he get a foot of the ball beaten this time by Pollock? And there's Favola grabbing the right ankle. (15-14) plays 9-9. Grover, who's been pretty good today. Grover,
Good second half.
in that third quarter, he was outstanding. Adrill.
They've got a lot of unsung heroes in their back line.
Parker was paid the mark. So it's take two, back to Hadrill in the goal square.
Yes, we haven't moved far at all, have we?
It's fair to say the sting's gone out of the game.
Here comes another helicopter, Kevin.
This is it. This is Greg Miller. Who's arriving.
With gold bullion. And that is Graham Polak. Oh, that's a searching kick. It's a beauty. Well weighted to McManus. On the lead, Pavlich, who's had an excellent afternoon. There it is. Oh, he's got police escort to get home with all that money.
They're coming for Terry Wallace. Surely he's got to tell us before the end of the game, because they're going to make an announcement early next week. We've got to know first.
2.25 minutes remaining for the Dockers and for the future of Terry Wallace. Lappin not getting past Smith. Teague still trying hard. Johnson, Headland. Dockers can sniff a goal here. Oh, they've got a free kick. Headland will take it, and he's a good kick. It's been a great last quarter. They've kicked 6 goals to 1. Des Headland has one of those 6, and he wants to make it 2. Thought he's a bit lucky.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in it, but I've liked his game today, Desi Headland, as well. A few times just watching where you probably can't see it on screen so much, but just his ability to really run hard from one end of the ground to another, just burst running from hard gut running, I suppose you'd call it, and deserves his rewards.
Wonderful view from the reverse angle, and as we expected, he doesn't miss too many. Good goal to Des Headland, his second, and that finishing skill that we saw when he was at the Lions, evident there.
Yeah, as Terry said, he's just a beautiful kick. He's a great field kick and also a great shot on goal. This would have to be Fremantle's biggest win ever away from home, wouldn't it? I'm not quite sure of the stats there. Matty, don't know if you
Stay
can
with
find
me,
them out.
I'll just delve into the book while KB takes over.
Well, they lead by 47 points. Terry Wallace might have let his guard down then too, Matty. He said to me, in Richmond's theme song, is it risking head and skin or risking head and shin? It's risking head and shin. And there's a big smile from Des Headland, who's got better as the game has gone on. I mentioned earlier, hasn't quite been the devastating player he was with the Brisbane Lions, but he's had it 18 times today and he's kicked 2 goals. 16-14, 110. The Blues, 8-8, 56. It's a 54-point margin. Out in front is the Wizard. He just juggles it to himself. Not the favourite person amongst Carlton supporters today for some reason, the Wizard.
I mean, look, as much as I sort of said earlier on when he showed the ball to the face of the Carlton opponent, then it just gives it a little bit of a juggle. You've got to have players in the game that you love to hate as much as what you've got to have players to love. I mean, that's what the game's about.
It does. It brings people in the gate to come and watch them and they want to boo them and stuff like that. It certainly does make the game more exciting.
Exactly.
Especially with the way this game is at the moment.
You need people to cheer and you need people to boo. Let's see if he goes into the aeroplane spin, if he kicks it. He's pointing.
He's got the one wing up.
I think he was saying to the goal umpire, it's only 1 point. Camporelli with just 22 seconds left in the game. And Lappin will take it away from half back. Good performance by the Dockers. Favola and Hadrill, who's had a mighty game. Hadrill forces the ball over the line in front of Koutafidis, who has been very brave today with his 23 possessions and 2 goals. Kouta. And it's all over. Elvis is leaving the building.
No, I can't find their biggest margin. I know they beat the Bulldogs last year by 56 points away.
I think this proves Chris Connolly's not coaching Hawthorn next year. I think he's got to stick with the Dockers.
83 points against the Bulldogs last year, I should say, at Docklands in round 7. That is their biggest away win.
Just got it in.
Just got it in right on the siren. What a sense of drama and theatre. But what a great sense of relief for Dockers fans right around the country, wherever they're watching. Great performance in that last term. Great victory, Terry. 58 points, settled now in the top 6.
Well, another thing we do know, it's their best win ever at this particular ground, and it can
You're
be
feeling good about that because they beat your team here?
Yeah, look, sometimes it's a difficult ground. It's a suburban type ground, and they're not easy to win on sometimes. And I just thought the way they went about it today was outstanding from a point of view of looking at finals, and they may have to come over to Melbourne to play a final later on in the series. And I just think that they're growing in momentum. Their back line was very, very strong today. They got some really good run out of their forward line. Got a real presence, run out of the midfield, and a real presence about their forward line now. It's got some very good tall players there. The small crumbing players were alert and alive. They just did a good job right across the board.
Matthew Pavlich was a terrific player for the Dockers today. Finished up with 25 disposals, equal best with Nick Stevens. Here he is down in the boundary, or down on the ground, I should say, with Tiff Cherry.
Well, Matthew, you kicked the opening goal of that quarter. You were pretty fired up. Could you smell finals footy?
Absolutely. Chris gave a bit of a rev at half-time. We definitely deserved it. The desperation that Sean McManus and those types of players show that haven't been in finals was something that we had to show, and I guess to start us off in the last quarter with a goal was good, and it was great to go on with the game.
And you broke the hoodoo against Carlton here at Optus Oval.
Yeah, we've done a few firsts this year and last year. Obviously the first finals last year, but beat Adelaide 2 weeks ago at Amy for the first time, and obviously today beat Carlton here. So it's a great effort. I mean, they've got a fantastic record here, so pretty proud of the boys.
The win away, how much confidence does that give you, knowing that you've got to face Geelong and St Kilda in the next month away?
Yeah, a huge amount of confidence. We've had a really good travelling record this year. I think we've won 4 in a row now, off the top of my head, which is a great way to where we've come from anyway, especially 2 years ago. I don't think we won a game away. So it's a great commitment by the guys to actually go on with the result, and I guess today's sort of testament of that.
And just to kick 7 goals to 1 in the last quarter, the legs, you know, you had a lot of run in the legs, the fitness is there.
Yeah, it was. I think the rotation policy, which Chris uses, definitely gave us a huge advantage at that stage, but our fitness, Adam Larkin's done the right thing, and the guys are really fit.
Well, we better let you go and enjoy the win. Well done, Matthew. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Tiff.
Thanks, Tiff. Congratulations, Matthew. Yes, he's correct. That's their last 4 wins on the road. They've beaten the Bulldogs, they've beaten Richmond, Adelaide, and now Carlton. And as you mentioned, Matthew, they got a lot more games under their belt now. I mean, you know, their midfield's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, no doubt. They really are starting to mature, as I said. And as Matty Pavlich said, then to come to these grounds and, you know, with not many of their own supporters here at Carlton, to come to them 3 or 4 times, it was, you know, it was a pretty good effort. And as Matty Pavlich said, they rotated a few times, and that's why they overrun them.
Not sure this is a good idea at the moment. The Dockers are doing the right thing by their fans, going down to say thanks for the support. But there's not enough security staff on the oval, and everyone has just run on the ground.
I reckon they'd want to get Wizard off there pretty quickly.
They want it, exactly. I mean, we're not saying something's going to happen, but you'd hate for something to happen. I mean, you've got Docker fans out there who are just great, you know, happy to see their team. But, you know, you hate to see players out on the ground not being able to get off safely. Imagine if something had happened during the day that was, I guess, untoward, and there was a bit of feeling from the crowd, Kevin. It's a dangerous situation.
Yeah, so because all the kids come on the field too. There's the Wizard getting, well, I suppose, escorted off Optus Oval just to be on the safe side. But all the kids come onto the field to have a bit of a kick, of course, at the siren.
That's a great part of our game we should never take away, that you get out and have a kick with your family and your kids. But let's make sure that there's a second siren that is when. Because
all the Docker fans were down left the screen, which is away from the.
Yeah. Let's make sure the teams are off the ground.
Stand.
Let's not take away. I mean, this is a different issue from what happened over the last couple of hours. A terrific performance.
Yeah, it was a great performance. And look, I'll go back over to Western Australia, very, very satisfied with the work that they did today.
Well, they've got Collingwood next week.
48 points is a pretty good win in the end, isn't it?
Well, it was 58.
Was it?
Yeah, well, while you were having a snooze in the last quarter, they kicked another 10 points.
Oh.
Or you're just counting up Terry's bullion.
The other aspect is 31 scoring shots to 18. It perhaps could have been over a little bit earlier in the game, but they certainly, when they nailed him in that last quarter, they just went on with the job.
Sorry, Kevin. It is 48.
I didn't want to correct you because
I was just looking at a different scoreboard. Yeah.
Oh, here's the song.